My name is Janine Roebuck and I'm known for being a deaf opera singer, and I have the privilege of being ambassador for Action on Hearing Loss. I was told at the age of 18 that I would never, ever be able to have a career in music. And I was utterly gutted, devastated. And then about 3 days later I thought, do you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to give it a shot, because you've got to try things. So I went to music college, I went to the conservatoire in Paris for a year. My career was launched and it was all going really, really well. But then when I was 30, I had a review for an opera, and it said something like, I began at one stage to wonder if she could even hear the orchestra. And I thought, well, little knows how true that is. So I thought it was perhaps time to get some hearing aids. And I did, and then I went from strength to strength, thanks to these wonderful audiologists who have looked after me over the years, to whom I owe absolutely everything. People ask me what it's like to be deaf, and it's not just that you hear everything more quietly, it's that actually there are distortions of sound. There are huge gaps. There are words that you just don't recognise at all. Imagine you were reading your newspaper in the morning and every second, fourth, eighth, ninth and 11th word were missing. It would take you quite a while to make sense of that sentence, and you would have the leisure to do so. Whereas if you have a hearing loss, you don't have that luxury. You're in conversation and words are flying. So you're desperately trying to make sense of the last sentence and you're already on to the next couple. So it's exhausting for your brain to try and fill in those spaces and make sense of what you're hearing. There are lots of situations, when things are hard. Sometimes it's not so important, and other times it could be life-threatening. I once blew up my car on the M4 because I didn't hear the engine knocking. And suddenly there was all smoke and steam coming out of it, and that cost me thousands of pounds to put right. I flooded the bathroom. I'd left the tap running. That's something that people don't hear with a hearing loss, running water. And it nearly brought the ceiling down in the kitchen, so that was a bit of a nightmare too. So there are dangers, actual, real dangers. Other times it's just an embarrassing or a humorous situation. Not long ago I was in Marks and Spencer's and I couldn't hear, the chap had a very strong accent. I couldn't hear what he was asking me, and I sort of hedged my bets and thought, well, he's either asking me if I want a 5p carrier bag or do I have a loyalty card, but I got the wrong one. And he went, he was just impatient with me, exasperated. So I said, I'm so sorry I didn't hear you, but I'm actually deaf. And he said, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't realise. But I think people need to understand that you're not stupid, you're not inattentive, you're not being impolite. You simply haven't heard what they said. I think it's very hard when you first come to terms with the fact that you have a hearing loss. I think it's a known phenomena that people delay 10 years before they actually acknowledge that to themselves. They blame everybody else, you're mumbling. I think it's seen as a sign of weakness, a sign of vulnerability. But in fact, the earlier you get a hearing aid, the better for you. The younger you are when you get the hearing aid, the better you will adapt to it. That is a known fact. And I think that's where Action on Hearing Loss really comes into their own. They have all the information at the fingertips. We all need somebody to point us in the right direction. And that is what Action on Hearing Loss is 1,000,000% devoted to doing. That is the purpose for their existence, to help people get the most out of life. Deafness is one of the most isolating conditions that exist, really, because if you can't participate, if you can't communicate, that is surely the longing of every human heart.